This is not healthy for democracy. So I think that this is an opportunity for us as a country to look back and say, is this partisanship serving us? I would posit to you that it's not. And so while some would say that there were reluctant folks working in Congress in the last 2 years, I would actually say that that was the basis for the productivity for some incredible achievements that made a difference for the American people in the last 2 years.
And we still don't agree on getting rid of the filibuster.
That's correct.
Thank you. I was.
What incredible things have they done on behalf of the American people that are still percolating right now? What? We are still in a pandemic, and these fools acting like we not in a pandemic. They let the child tax credit expire. They wouldn't let the rail workers go on strike because we understand what would have happened to there was a consequence for that, but they should have gave the rail workers what they wanted. Remember, they were only asking for sick time. They haven't passed the PRO Act, John Lewis Voting Rights Act, George Floyd Policing Act. What good things have they done on behalf of the American people? And you just saw Sinema and Manchin high five each other, celebrate their efforts to block Senate filibuster reform. The lawmakers' refusal blocked key legislation such as voting rights reform, codifying abortion rights. So what they high fiving for? Again, they said the quiet part out loud with that high five. They letting us know where they stand. And as a reminder, the two are at the World Economic Forum event in Davos, Switzerland. That is where they are, surrounded by some of the richest people on earth, sitting up in that place high fiving. The filibuster is a relic that is deeply attached to the racist history in this country. The filibuster was most often used to block legislation that would advance equality and justice towards black folks in this country. So Sinema and Manchin, they continue to screw over the American people every day. You remember this footage?
Miss Sinema. No.
Keep in mind the spike of contributions to both Sinema and Manchin in 2021. The money calls and they listen. They do the bidding for their owner donors. $500 or more. Look at all of that money. This is really about the owner donors. This is why they do this stuff, Jackson. It's clear it is a corrupt system and bribery is legal in the United States of America.
Well, there's so much corruption in the system that there hasn't really been any need to change up the arguments, whether it be the same type of supply side economic arguments, or it's the same type of arguments for partisanship within Congress. Even though, so much of the Senate and Congress is funded by the same groups of people, overwhelmingly. So there is no real partisanship along the public lines and along policy lines. And they know that these arguments are tired. And despite the fact that the public generally is well aware of this, there's no real incentive for them to change because there's no real consequences that they're gonna face, especially people like Kyrsten Sinema, who's well aware of why the people who really don't like her, she knows why that's the case, but what does she really have to care for? She's separated from all of that.
Yeah, she is, and has a nice cushy lobbyist job waiting for her when she's no longer in the Senate one of these days.